So you come to us here live at the top of the tower from Windsor via Australia, basically.
That's correct. I like to situate myself between Australia and the UK. Usually I try and do summer to summer, and I have a rule that if I wake up from a nap and it's dark outside, it's time to change hemispheres. So that's the way my body clock kind of works.
Very simple philosophy. It involves thousands of miles and half the planet, but I get it completely. Yeah. So when did you start having a right laugh?
I've been doing that for about 2 years now.
Right.
And for me, it's because I work online and the majority of my work I can do from my laptop. I like to subject myself to a nice working environment. So,
right. Yeah. So former personal trainer in gyms, and then we've just had a massive chat off air. You realise, well, that's maybe not the most efficient way to get a useful message across to people. So how do you do it now?
So yeah, for about 3.5 years on the gym floor, working in a gym in Bracknell, budget gym, doing my hours, 40 hours a week. And I realised I very much was having the same conversations over and over with people. Yep. Calories, what to do, how to segment training, whatever it was. And I thought, if I put all of this online, I could help people. And that's when I started on social media. But I felt that even with Facebook and Instagram, your message can become very scattered. And I thought, okay, I'm going to create a platform and allow people to gain access to that, where at their own time, their own kind of efforts, they can start to learn. Because when I'm on the gym floor, I could be explaining to someone why a high protein diet is important, and suddenly my watch beeps and they're into their next set, and then you're asking them about their weekend, and then they're venting a little bit about, oh, you know, my boyfriend's annoying me, my boss is on my case, and it's a very difficult place to get a message across. And there was times that I would bring a physical whiteboard to the squat rack so I could explain to them, you know, about macronutrients. Yes. And then I thought, why am I doing this online? So that's kind of the direction I took.
But what did you say on telly yesterday that's got you in the papers today?
It was about fat shaming and using the word fat. And, you know, I said, I don't go around calling people fat. And the same way that if you're going to give a little bit of money to a homeless person, you wouldn't feel the need to say, you're really poor, mate. That's not it. But we can't tiptoe around using that word. Like I said at Christmas, I've gained fat. And we need to, as long as we're addressing the solution and giving people the solution to it, that's fine. And instead of all conversations being around what we label people with, we need to work out a solution and educate people with what they need. And the underpinning factor behind every fat loss diet is a calorie deficit. And this message is becoming more and more lost as we go along. And if anyone's going to be shamed, it shouldn't be the people that are suffering with weight loss. It should be the people that are conning them with useless supplements and certain types of slimming coffees. I mean, there are teenagers now, impressionable young teenagers, having a cup of decaf before bed and thinking it's going to help them lose weight. And I mean, my mum and my dad couldn't even tell you what a macronutrient is, but they could tell you it's pretty daft to have a cup of decaf before bed in a bid to lose fat. Yeah.
Because decaf isn't uncaf, it's just less caf.
Matthew Walker, I believe he was one of your guests.
Yeah, we love Matthew. And your book, I mean, it's a real sort of, it's a Herculean sprint around everything. Calorie calculators, you know, how do you work out body? Because you've just talked about the metal plates that are on gym machines that give us our BPM and our fat, and you're thinking, well, that's not as accurate as it might be. So how do you do it?
So there are so many complex ways about measuring amounts of body fat. And again, every single person I know has become a photographer with their new iPhones, and people can't even have breakfast without taking a picture of it anymore. I know. So now I say to people, look, take a picture of where you're at now, implement something, whatever it is, and then check it a month later. You should be able to notice whether or not you've made progress across 2 photos. And if you need someone else to take a look for you for, you know, an unbiased perspective, I think, again, we're not only complicating fat loss, we're overcomplicating our ways of measuring our progress.
Yeah, it's so funny because you really do tell it like it is. So some of your chapters here, The Power of Numbers, Fitness Tracking, Habits, Essentials for the Good Life, and then Laws of the Universe. Tell us about your Laws of the Universe chapter.
So Parkinsons Law is that whatever amount of time we give to a task, it takes that long to complete. So often, if we have a time-sensitive period of going to the gym and a certain amount of work, we get it done. I find that I'm most productive on trains, where I know the distance between getting on and getting off. I get my laptop out, and suddenly all my emails get cleared so much quicker. We have the 80-20 rule, which I think, again, is a bit nuanced, but I found that 80% of my headaches came from 20% of my clients. So I could get rid of 20% of my clients and get rid of 100% of my headaches.
I've heard this before. I've heard so many people do this, and it really works, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think with these kind of laws, another one, sunk cost fallacy, which is the more we invest into something, the harder it is to walk away from it. Yeah. So whether it's an investment, a relationship, or a job, often when you challenge someone, say on their relationship, they go, but we've been together 5 years. And I'm saying to them, but I think this is something that could actually be making you unhappy and a contributing factor to why you might overeat. And so many people are soon to label me as, oh, you just shout calorie deficit at people. But the main reason for Not a Diet Book was they could read that and go, actually, do you know what? I'm in an unhappy relationship based on the amount of time I've been in it. I'm in an unhappy job based on the amount of time I've been in it. And if I can instill confidence into someone to leave an unhappy relationship or leave an unhappy job, then they can go away and, make themselves a little bit happier, pursue a passion. And suddenly managing the amount of food you have and exercising and going outside is a much easier feat when all your kind of, everything else in your life is in a row. We have this thing at the moment where people seem to think they go to the gym to burn calories. I'm like, you're not a hamster on a wheel. You don't need to run a certain amount to go, oh, well done, mate, you can have dinner now. Instead, we need to be saying to people, taking the stairs, walking up escalators. Doing that over time will compound a better interest than you going to the gym for 30, 40 minutes and doing a few sets on the lat pull down. And what I would love is to go on the London Underground and see more people walking up the escalator, because people are now having a shorter period of sleep, which is essential to get up early, to go to the gym, to wait for bits of equipment, to get out the gym, shower, go to the escalator and stand still on it. And I'm stood there pulling my hair out, what's left of it, and going, your legs worked for the majority of your journey. When you saw the escalator, which arguably allowed you to go faster than ever before on your journey, you decided to stay still. And these are things that are being overlooked. And I do hope the book kind of drives into that.
The Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky.